What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we continue our coverage of the Delaz conflict and 0083 Rebellion. Last time, Nina met with Gato. She demanded to know if he used her to get info on the Gundam. Meanwhile, Ko learned about the power of a good night's sleep. This time, the naval review will finally take place, and Gato begins his attack on Compe Island. So let's get into this. We flash back to UC-0082. Paula congratulates Nina on being the leader on the Gundam development project. Nina isn't around on her days off, so Paula assumes she is seeing a man. She prods about who he is, but Nina says that he is quite silent and doesn't say much, but he loves machines, and the two of them brought this Haro back to life. Paula could tell she is in love, but she denies it. Back in the present, we learn that this was Paula's flashback. She couldn't believe that the guy back then was actually a Zeon Remnant soldier. She asks him again if she was being used. Gato just calls her a damn fool. Chima and Ensign Kurt's meeting is interrupted by the Albion crew. He wonders what the G-Lines are doing here, but Keith tells him they aren't friendly. He points his weapon and shoots at Ko at Unit 1, but it was just a flare round. He isn't trusted with real rounds, but he has two custom twin blade sabers. Green Wyatt is informed that at this rate, the deal with Chima will fall apart. It leaves them no choice but to fire on the Albion. Chima calls off the deal. The Birmingham fires and hits a Musai-class ship as she and her men retreat. Kurtz tries to attack Ko, but the other G-Line pilot stops him and apologizes to Burning for the trouble. Burning essentially looks the other way, but Keith is like, what the hell? They were totally gonna try to kill us. Shut up, Keith. Burning is doing a thing. Play it cool. The Birmingham is lucky their attack hit Chima's fleet and not the Albion, or Wyatt wouldn't be able to spin this. Nina wanted to spend every day with Gato, but one day he just disappeared. She was somewhat relieved that it is because he is Zeon, and she is willing to stay here if that is all it is. Gato spells it out very clearly for her. His time on the moon was temporary, and she does not belong here. Only people who are willing to die for the cause. Karyasato says, well, I guess you have your answer. He tells an NCO to ensure they get back safely, but Nina instantly grabs the soldier's gun from his holster. She points the gun at Karius and tells Gato, what if I kill all of you right here and now? Gato says, so be it. She then points the gun at herself and says, let's see how strong your resolve is. Gato says, so be it, and turns off his radio. Paula tells her to put down the gun. The gun goes off, but Paula slaps it away. However, Nina still took some of the damage from the bullet and blood pours out of her. Their unit preps for Solomon. One thing to note is that the Zeon Remnants still refer to it as Solomon instead of Compe Island. I assume they have intel on the name change, and this is more a morale thing. Kelly says that he may regret if he doesn't talk to Nina, but Gato calls him a hypocrite. At least Kelly told Letard to her face he was leaving for a man. Gato has waited for this moment for 3 years and will not sacrifice anything for Delaz's mission. He pulls him in close. Kiss. Come on, do it. A scouting squad is out near Compe Island. Suddenly, a Holtol rushes straight past and kamikazes into a Magellan-class ship. Holtol stands for horizontal takeoff and landing. We discussed this during our coverage of Igloo, the hidden one-year war, and we saw its variants, the Hytol, earlier on in this manga. He sigs at Zeon before the Magellan goes up in flames. Wyatt is informed of an increase in Zeon Remnant attacks. Many of these attacks are just random remnants that have heard Delaz's speech. They are waiting for the main course to make its appearance. Wyatt believes that they are just like rats scavenging and undermines them. The Albion team is also patrolling Compe Island. Keith takes out an Ogo. He can't get a hit on it. Ko comes in to attack another. Ko is just waiting for Gato to make his appearance. Gato's Guazine leaves the Garden of Thorns. He mentions that he will never return here again. He says the arrow cannot be fired twice. This is an all-or-nothing mission. The Burning team returns to resupply, but they're heading out again soon. Burning's nose begins bleeding and Moira makes him go see the Albion's doctor. He gets a CAT scan and the doctor says there is an irregularity in his brain. Homeboy's got a tumor. Burning plays it off as simply needing rest, but this isn't good and the doctor suggests that he remain grounded. Meanwhile, Kelly launches in the Val-Walo full mission mode. The MA-06 Val-Walo full mission mode is the upgraded Val-Walo which refits the mobile suit with Zeon standard parts. The biggest addition is a modified stern booster on the back. This gives the unit increased thrust, but also has 8 beam cannons attached. Also, the way Kelly utilizes this booster makes it look like a beaver's tail, and I can't unsee it. Karius approaches Gato days later on their journey to Compe Island. He asks him if it was all just to gain intel. Gato tells Karius that he isn't that shrewd, suggesting he does indeed have feelings for Nina. This is the most you're going to get this guy to open up. I call that a win. They make it to Compe Island. Gato sends out a flare to rally everyone in the area. He heads out with Kelly and his troops. One area called the Ramos sector of asteroids is being attacked by Draw C Customs. The MS-21D1 Draw C Custom is a variant of the Draw C and originally debuted in Mayfly in Space. This version decides to focus on speed instead of mobility. It also replaces its Vulcans for a machine gun. Axis will later use these variants as escorts for Rigel Googs. Other weapons include a shield which stores its beam saber, a Sturmfaust, a large Gatling gun, and a triple missile pod which is specific to Axis's heavy equipment type. Gato says this will be his last battle with the Gundam as they move in. Kelly asks for forgiveness from Laterra. Wyatt isn't worried about Zeon remnants and just wants his men to focus on the nuclear warhead. There are 2 hours until the naval review. He makes his leave from Compe to Birmingham. Moncha and Keith launch. Burning talks to Captain Synapse. He will allow him to pilot his Gundam, but he suggests that he doesn't push himself too hard. Burning says after this mission he is thinking of stepping down from the military. He has been separated from his wife since the 1-year war, but she wants to try again, so he wants to leave for love? Oh man, he's so going to die. Ko wants Mora to increase Unit 1's thruster output by 1.5. But this would require the pilots to take a lot of G's to the face, and the Gundam would need to be retrofitted with special parts. They get permission from Burning to make this happen. He wasn't aware that the Gundam development project extended so far. I feel this line is a subtle jab at the differences between the OVA and the manga, because boy, if you just watch the OVA, you would think the Gundam development project is 2 Gundams in the Albion. But it is so much more. As Gato and Kelly move in, a satellite near Compe Island sends out automatic sentries. I have no data on these little things. Kelly acts as a distraction for Gato. The Albion spots the Val-Walo. Ko wants to launch. Burning tags along. Mora tells Ko that the parts added to Unit 1 were a part of the propulsion system of the RX-78-7, aka the 7th Gundam. This is a Kunio-Kawada 1-year war MSV that evolves into full armor 7th Gundam used in Battlefield Record UC-0081. Mora calls this the GPO-1 Heavy Full Armor Burnin. The RX-78 GPO-1 FB Heavy Full Armor Burnin is a variant of GPO-1 that utilizes parts from the 7th Gundam, specifically the full armor variant. The biggest upgrade is the propulsion system, but it also uses the backpack-mounted long-range beam rifle, which has twice the range of a standard beam rifle. It also has 2 4-tube missile pods on its shoulders and 4 tube missile launchers on each leg. I assume it retains the GPO-1's beam rifle, but let's assume it's also using 7th Gundam's beam rifle. It would then use the XBR H-80L1 beam rifle, which shares many features to a long-range beam rifle. Burning looks at a photo of his wife. Ko heads out, taking a lot of G's to the face while Kelly begins his attack. The Val-Walo pinches Jims in half, left and right, as they approach the battlefield. Burning tells Ko that he is no longer a rookie, and he tells him about his wife. Moncha and Keith are able to take out the Draw C's, creating a diversion. They meet back up with Ko and Burning. Also on the battlefield is a certain mobile bridgehead. I don't want to say what it is yet because it will give it away, but Gato says it is the same red eyesore he saw at the Battle of Abawaku. Kelly has made a hole in their defenses and tells Gato to get moving. That is when Ko and Burning make their appearance. Ko goes after the Val-Walo. Burning tells Ko not to get too close. He is surrounded by Zeon mobile suits and uses articulating arms on his backpack to wield beam sabers. Kelly grabs Unit 1 and aims his beaver tail at Ko. Burning comes in and distracts the Val-Walo, but Kelly grabs and crushes Burning's gem, killing him. Karius Ado, Gato, and the giant mobile armor push forward. Karius mentions that this big ring will come in handy. Do you know what it is yet? The big ring hides GPO-2 and acts as a line of defense. Both Kelly and Ko fire on each other. Kelly thinks he hit Unit 1, but Ko uses his beam saber to latch onto the mobile armor. Kelly attempts to grab him with his pincers, but Ko unleashes the 7th Gundam's long-range beam cannon mounted on the back. He destroys the Val-Walo's pincer and critically damages the mobile armor. Kelly wonders why Ko is hesitating to kill him. He tells him to not be naive. Ko goes in for the attack. As the naval review begins, the Big Rang rushes towards Compe Island and destroys one of the New Birmingham-class ships. Wyatt launches his secret weapon. Out of Compe Island comes an EFF-modified Big Zam. We find that Ko stops short before stabbing through the Val-Walo. He tells Kelly to go back to the moon and be with La Terra. He shoots his Vulcans around him, but he doesn't kill him. Ko tells him to leave and takes off without doing anything. He blames Gato for bringing him into this. Gato is taken aback by seeing Dozlzabi's mobile armor on the battlefield. Wyatt mentions that this is indeed Dozlzabi's unit that was resurrected with EFF parts. Look at this thing, it has a VFin and Gundam shin pads. This thing is glorious. But most importantly, it is an insult to their former commander and a great way to decrease Zeon Remnant morale. Big Rang tries to ram through another Birmingham, but the Big Zam uses its chicken feet to stop it. A hatch opens up on the Big Rang, and out pops Unit 2 hiding. Wyatt's cockiness quickly turns to panic. Gato locks on to the Birmingham-class ship and fires the nuke, taking out Wyatt's fleet and the naval review. Ko sees a light and rushes towards Gato, yelling his name. And that will do it for this episode. It's kind of crazy that someone at the top didn't just say, let's delay this 12 hours. We get overtime on the taxpayer's dollar, and we could deal with the Zeon remnants before doing this? I guess they gotta go all in on the incompetency. Next episode, Gato will meet with the team responsible for the Big Rang and Gato's next mobile armor. It is indeed Oliver May, Monique Cadillac, and Hideto of the former 603rd Tactical Evaluation Team from Igloo. Also, the Albion crew picks up Kelly, and the men mourn the loss of Burning. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, EFF's ego always gets the best of them. Peace.